Welcome to another edition of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight. During this hour, we're bringing you highlights from some of our shows focused on all things sports in the DMV. Please be sure to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. First up on Pitt Sports Zone, we catch up with Claflin University softball head coach Holden as the team prepares for the 2026 CIAA Tournament. On Baltimore Ravens Update, tune into more of the action from the Ravens rookie camp. Lastly, on Washington Commanders Update, check out the sights and sounds from the Commanders rookie camp. Don't go anywhere, and as always, enjoy this week's episode of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight.
What's going on, everybody? Y'all know what it is. I'm your host, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live yet again. It is going down. We talking CIAA softball, and we got the returning guest and coach for Claflin University and the Southern Division champions in the CIAA. Claflin, how you doing today? What's going on, coach?
Yeah, how you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Listen, we spoke beginning of the season, and everything that you said and everything that we talked about appears to have worked exactly how you planned it out in regards to, first taking the division and then turning your attention to the CIAA tournament. So first off, thank you. Congratulations again, winning the South. Caitlin, welcome to Pitt Sports Zone. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm good.
So, Caitlin, if you can just share a little bit about yourself with the viewers and listeners? Like, you don't got to go too much. You know what, Caitlin? I'm going to do an icebreaker with you because I did it with Coach. I'm going to do it with you. So, just to break the ice. So, do you have a favorite food?
No.
You don't have a favorite food?
Wait. Dip. Buffalo dip.
Buffalo chicken dip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Favorite place or a destination to travel to?
Home.
Home?
I don't really care to travel.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. She said, let's keep it basic. She said home. She fooling y'all. She want to go places. And then lastly, do you have a favorite professional team, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, etc.?
No, I don't.
See, Kayla, we gonna pull more out of you. Coach, the South. Talk to me. Take me through the season and the way it transpired for you, what you've seen so far from your team before I jump into the questions that I have for you and Kate.
Going through the season, of course, performed very well in Georgia just to see what was at. That's the beginning of the season. Went to Alabama, struggled in Alabama, but I think Alabama was a reset of figuring out who we are as an identity. Can we bounce back and what we're going to do from here? Then going through the rest of the non-conference type schedule we had before Roundup was, I think, what set the tone, playing against Coker University, which is a good D2 university in South Carolina, and then playing against who's actually nationally ranked right now. We split with both of them, so taking that high and going in through the Roundup, getting through Roundup, and then starting off in the South. I think what most people don't realize is once we started a conference in the South, two of the others went down. We only had Caitlin, so we had to figure it out for at least 6 games. That was a rough time, especially with coaching strategy, what we need to do, how we was going to prepare. Caitlin actually had the stamina to get through it because that's really all we had when it came to pitching. So it's just like, how can we balance this out and make it work to get the wins? And of course, my mentality was like, we hit and score, we can hold off enough until she come in and do what she does, what she's been doing throughout the season. And then just finishing out yesterday, we went to Winston, got the 2 wins to finish out the South undefeated.
So, Caitlin, just hearing, Coach, and he talk about the 6 games where really pitching was on the back of you and another individual. Talk about what were some things that you were able to really focus and hone in on to keep you mentally and physically sharp, knowing that it was going to be a heavy workload on you.
Um, I would say like it was just like it was understood. Like I knew that you know, I mean, who else is gonna do it? And then for
Okay.
two, it was just. I mean, I'm so used to being like having to rely on myself, not having other pitchers to do the job. So like coming to Claflin in general, like having a staff, it was different because I was so used to just being me. So, I mean, to be fair, I didn't mind it. You
Okay.
know,
And if you don't mind me asking, where were you at prior to Claflin?
Thompson High School in Dearborn,
Okay.
Georgia, and I played for the Yard Dogs. I don't know if you,
Okay.
but
So you're a freshman.
no, I'm a junior.
Okay. Okay. Only reason why I asked is when you said, the previous team, I didn't know, in regards to that university, I didn't know they were a CIAA opponent as well. But just even still, just going back to what you said, you said having to rely on yourself. Those are things that I'm sure, Coach, you love those attributes because it shows you that you have a player that is capable of putting it on her shoulders and being okay with that workload.
Yes. Once we had the conversation, when the other two pitchers went, new like it's it's just her, and we had the conversation like, hey, I'm gonna have to rely on you. I'm gonna try to just create two pitchers just to get us through a couple of innings, just so she can get that break. And she was like, I'm up for it. Like I handle it, and which she did. She came in and did what she's supposed to do, and just took over. Of course, like I said, we struggled in the beginning, just because of two people on the mound who is never pitched
Yeah.
in level at all, not even really pitched like that in high school. So it's just like we got in a hole, and Caitlin was like, "It's okay. We'll get out of it. They ain't gonna score no more. We just got to hit the ball." And the team, once she got in, it was like, "All right, it's showtime. Like we got to get ourselves out of the hole." And she's gonna do what she needs to do so they can't score anymore. And each time she came in, it was no more runs allowed. It was just, all right, just hit. Let's catch up. Let's win.
So Caitlin was like, I know you remember, Coach. I don't know if Caitlin does, but like, remember the movie Wild Thing? Anytime they needed something to happen,
Yeah.
they go ahead and hit that.
It's like, all right, like we can't go no longer. Like you ready? Like yeah. And she was like, all right, I'm ready. But even like when one of the other pitchers came back, it was still one of those like, hey, she's not 100%, so you still have to be able to take that workload, and it's been successful. It has worked. The strategy we've been using, being able to control the game. I think our defense does very well. Like, of course, like every defense, like they have their days, but
Yeah.
majority of the time we're controlling the game on our defense, and we're just using our offense to get way ahead, and then come back and just knowing like, hey, she's gonna throw. She's throwing the ball. She wants to win. She's got that winning mentality, so she's gonna do everything possible to help us win.
One of the things we talked about in our last interview, Coach, and you said one thing that your team is going to do this year is out hit. That's if there's one area we're going to out hit. When you talk about that, and to regards to adjustments and growth, looking at the body of work this season, what's one area where you've seen the most growth?
We lead the nation, D1, D2, and D3 in triples per game.
Mm.
The nation. We are ranked in batting average. I think I figured you was gonna ask a
Excuse me.
question. So and just I'm gonna give it to my team. We're 21st in D2 in the nation for batting average.
Mm.
We're 42nd for on base percentage. We're 18th for RBI per game. We are fifth in the nation for scoring, 25th for slugging, 38th for total stolen bases, second for triples, second in triples, first in triples per game.
But again, that's something that you said that was going to be a key strength to your team this year, and it appears that everything that you said came to fruition just the way you envisioned it would.
Yeah, like it's more so like I know they get tired of every day we hit every day. It's the same. So we hit so much, and we might have two defensive practice. But the thing what I do is what's making our pitching staff, especially Kaiten, perform at the highest level, which she has the lowest ERA throughout the whole CIAA. The days we hit, she still go to the bullpen. She still get her rest throw. So if pitching is there and we're hitting, the defense will come because the
Yeah,
pitchers spots. We just got to make the simple plays that given to us. So it works, and I know it's repetitive. They hate it, but it's working. And now we're nationally ranked in D2 for a lot of the categories.
okay. You can still hear me, Coach?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. Caitlin, I've seen you shaking your head when Coach was talking about you hit a lot. What's your thoughts?
I mean, he said I mean, everybody knew that last year we struggled at the plate constantly. Yeah, so we this year is that I mean, we had our ups. The one thing that stayed was our at bats, our consistency at hitting those in those gaps when we needed the most, getting those people in whenever we needed the most, just being consistent at the plate, everybody coming together and doing their job. And that's all we can ask.
Absolutely. And just want to check. Do you guys hear static on your end?
Yeah, it's like static, muffle.
Okay. Let me do this. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
for that. How about now, Coach?
You're clear now.
Okay. I apologize for that. Um, and so
I can't
when
hear you.
you said again, I didn't hear what you say, Caitlin.
You can't hear?
Oh,
No, I can't hear.
Caitlin can't hear me?
No.
Oh, okay. 1 second. I apologize very truly. Let's see. Um, how about now, Caitlin?
No, I can't
All right.
hear.
Can you hear Coach Ricky?
Me? You can hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring you right back. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me now, Coach?
I can hear you.
All right, Caitlin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Technology. We live bad and we die bad. I swear for Lord. So I apologize for that. So, Caitlin, when you was talking about the hitting, because we know offense, reflects defense, defense reflects offense. So I guess, and for me, when Coach talked early on, one of the things that Coach highlighted was the ability for your team to hit. And from me to you, throughout the season, can you pinpoint a place where you've seen, as a player on the team with your other teammates, can you see an area in which you feel you've seen your team grow?
I would say like the bonding outside of just on the field, if that makes sense. Like we've had our ups and downs this whole season, and the main problem was we couldn't figure out how to put all our different personalities and become one, and just know like how certain people, how to talk to certain people a certain way, or how they respond when you do certain things like this. Just kind of
Yeah.
like that, being able to conversate with each other outside of softball, if that makes sense. Just that
Yeah.
type of bonding.
Absolutely, because those type of relationships they carry over to the softball field, right? When you build that continuity within each other, because on the field you can only see but so much, right? But when you spend time with each other off the field, you're able to see the way they communicate, the effective communication with them. How they respond to certain critiques or whatnot. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And they do carry over to the relationship non-verbally, right, on the field, because you then realize, okay, I know this is an area where she may not be comfortable, so this is where I can aid her, and that really builds within the team. Being able to build that off-field continuity for the infield game is big, especially when it comes time for, we all know that in baseball, softball, non-verbal body language speaks volumes, right? It's kind of like a tipping cap to the other team. If I see that you got your head down, I know where I can, where I can start trying to, pull the string and poke at that person. When I know you said you just finished yesterday, I believe, coach, against Winston Salem to finish
Yes.
off the season. How much of these last games were refining specific details leading up to the CIAA tournament?
I think it more so of like seeing the execution, and trusting the process and actually trusting each other on the field, picking each other up. As you
Yeah,
know, it's all about that dugout. That dugout when it's on offense is different. And just having fun with it. And I'm always saying like if you're having fun, it's easier to win because you ain't got pressure. Like you just doing what we know we could do and just being able to execute. I think playing against Winston-Salem State was probably the first time we ever had bases loaded, and we didn't leave bases loaded. I think a big
mm,
offense, like we couldn't figure out how to move those runners in. Now it's just all clicking. It's clicking at the right time because, as I say, you want to be peak right before you go to tournament. And I think everything that we know we needed to fix for the most part is there. Like, of
yeah,
course, you as a coach, I'm always saying we got to work on this. Like, we still need to work on that because I feel we could be better, um, because I know the potential. I see the potential. I know what we could do and see it in practice. And then we get to the field, it's like, all right, we second guess. We should second guess. We should just do it. And just being able to put that pressure on other teams. And I think that's what sets us apart this year. Like the team mindset is they want to win.
yeah,
And we're doing everything we possibly can to win.
yeah,
Last year, it will always, we'll come up, we'll lose a game by 1 point, or we get to that 7 inning, we can't figure out how to get on base. When we get to the 7 inning, we up. It's just you got to catch up to us. Like our mindset, my mindset is I want to score first. If we start scoring first, that puts the pressure on the other team,
yeah,
and knowing that all right, Kate, don't let them score. Because when we come back in, we still in a good part of our lineup. We're getting to at least the 7th, 8th hitter in the first round of hitting. So getting back to the top. So if they don't get on base, we start this cycle all over again. And now the defense is just resting. You're just hitting, having. When we go back on offense, we're in a good mood. You're more relaxed when we're on defense. It's like, all right, they got a good hit, cool. But I know they're gonna let them score, so we okay.
yeah. Caitlin, you smiling. Share your thoughts. Share your thoughts as you heard what Coach was saying.
Oh, I mean, he's right. I mean, all last year we either win by 1 point or 2 points, but this year we was winning by 5 and 6, 7, 8. So when it's time for me to get on the mound and pitch, I'm up. Like they can get one little hit, but they're not gonna get another one.
Yeah.
So the
Caitlin,
whole
what?
tone on the field is just different, and everybody's just relaxed. It's not, oh my gosh, they just get a good hit. They got to get this girl in, and then we're tied. Like that type of game. It's
Yeah.
we're up. Okay, they got a good hit, but they're not gonna get another one. So we're
Yeah.
gonna just go ahead and get to the next game.
And Coach, when you look at that, the next question kind of leads me into what adjustments mentally or schematically have you challenged your players to make up until this point?
Now is more of a they're adjusting faster. We making the adjustments, like we understand, like we're trying to coach them through it in the
Yeah,
moment. But if you watching me coach, usually I'm not saying a lot. I'm letting them figure it out. Like I'm saying, hey, you're throwing your shoulder, or you're here the coach Jalen telling, hey, you're forcing yourself falling over. But other than that,
yeah,
they can feel it. Like they know what's wrong. We do it so much. They're making the adjustments on their own, or it's the accountability. My bad. Like I swung at it. I missed the pitch. Like especially at bat, they be like, Coach, that's me. All right, cool. But you can also see Caitlin when she missed. She might that's on me and come right back. Like give it back to me. I ain't this time. So it's like that mentality. Like I want to do it over because I know I messed up. Like I know that one's on me, but it ain't
yeah,
gonna happen. Like it's that confidence level of just adjusting on the spot and knowing that you have that support from your teammates. Like we all know, we all see it. Like all right, cool, but nobody got to say it to you because you're saying it to yourself. And I think it makes it easier because nobody wants to hear somebody say, "Hey, you messing up" all the time.
right,
If I tell myself, you ain't got to say nothing to me because I already
right.
know. It's like,
SEC and played at a really high level. And at the end of the day, that's really as simple as it is. He has had a lot of experiences. He's had to kind of grind through it, learn from a lot of different things. Took advantage, really, of some chaos in college football with eligibility rules to even be able to go back for another year. And took advantage of it. Ended up probably making himself a lot of money through NIL and finishing in the top 2 or 3 in the Heisman vote. So it's a really cool story for him. For us, we see it as an opportunity to bring a player in that could potentially be something, and that's really what this is for us.
It's so important this time of year for players to start gelling and figure things out. What's it like for your staff to try and you got to try and gel as a staff too? What's kind of that process like?
You know, it's just working together, and it's going through these experiences. And when you go through, we had the voluntary camp with our returning players. Now we have this. It really gives us an edge going into OTAs to have those 4 or 5 practices of working together, kind of feeling out how I operate on the field, feeling how each other operate, knowing the drills that we like to do, the tempo that we like to do things at. So just the more you work together and do things like that, the better it becomes. And so just like you want a player to get a little bit better each day, get a little bit better each time out there, it's the same with the coaches.
Jesse, the pre-snap activity over there between the two Claflin experience, one thing I noticed was a lot of pre-snap chatter out there. It's a bunch of undrafted rookies and guys who are 4 years starting. Wouldn't necessarily expect that. It's really encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, you can't play this game quiet, and you can't play this game with doubt, and you can't play this game without knowing what you're doing. And so, I know from a defensive standpoint, like we should be the loudest, most crazy, obnoxious communicating unit in the history of football, and that's the rookies doing that. And so I give credit to the coaches that they have those guys prepared to come out here and be able to be like that. That's really the standard that we're trying to create. When you communicate and you're on the same page and you know what you're doing, you've got a much better chance of being successful. So, and the whole idea is that when you do it over and over again, you do it here, you do it every play, that it doesn't matter if it's the first play of the season against whoever or in a game in December or in a game in February. That's the standard of how we operate, and we lead ourselves to success in those moments if we operate like that all the time.
Are you comfortable with 4 quarterbacks on your roster throughout the offseason? Is that the number you'd like it to be at, given, whether you're going to be able to get all these guys reps and all that?
I think that's a little bit in flux, I would say. We'll kind of look at it coming out of this. I think there's a place for anywhere from 3 to 5, honestly. especially for the off season, just to kind of make sure that we have everything covered and we're getting guys different looks and kind of what we're looking for. So I think that could be in flux, whether there's veterans out there that we may want to look at or even a couple of the rookies. But I think that's a room you're always trying to just find that perfect number, and we'll continue to do that.
Jesse, what's the process translating what you see scouting onto the field now in practice?
I mean, that, like, truthfully, that part's over now in a sense. Like, we did the whole process, and we decided to pick those players for our team. And so, we pretty much felt like they all had traits that could translate to play the style of play that we want to play. Now it's about, like, really starting from scratch, and like these guys need to learn everything about how we operate. Now, Vega is so athletic and so powerful that I know he can learn the footwork, but it's got to be the way that the exact way that Coach Ledford wants it done. So it's like, that they have the traits to be able to do the things that we want to do, and then going back to the ground level and making sure that they're doing everything in the way that we want. Yeah, I mean, what I told him is, like, we all really liked him as a player. We all really wanted him. It was really cool to see that. Steve did a great job, but he's a guy that was kind of right there on the board at that time when we picked him. He's a really good player. Excited to see what he brings to the table. Extreme versatility, I would say, on the offensive side and in special teams. And so you love having guys like that. Kind of see if they can find themselves a niche in this league.
Do two more.
Jesse, what was your reaction to Clay's game?
Stoked. We've agreed to terms with Calais. He'll be here sometime this week to kind of finalize things, and really excited about it. This guy, he had 6.5 sacks last year. He's still playing at such an unbelievable level. We all know what type of man and person and teammate and leader that he is, and so that's like. But this is because he's such a really good player, at this age and where he's at. He'll really help us. He'll be great for the young guys, of course, because that's who Calais is. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings on the field in between the lines, and I really think he'll help us both in the run and pass game.
What's your message overall for the kids when they try to come in and call it the pro where it's not that different now, but trying to take jobs of guys they probably watched growing up?
Yeah, the rookie, the message for those guys is, like, every day has to be the most important day of your career now. If you really want to make it and you really want to find that consistency, like, every meeting, every rep is the most important rep. And especially from a mental standpoint. It's not always going to be 1,000 miles an hour physically, but every opportunity in the meeting room, in the weight room, in the walkthroughs, every rep's the most important rep of your career. And when you treat it like that, you begin to stack and you begin to learn, and that's how you gain trust. For these guys, it's not always about gaining the trust of me or the coaches. It's really about gaining the trust of our veterans and our leaders. And they can do that over the course of the rest of the offseason program and in training camp. And most of the time, in my experience, even as just a defensive coach, the veteran players come to you and say, hey, that rookie's ready to help us, before you even say that as a coach. And so I look forward to these guys just kind of being themselves, showing what they can do, and let the veterans kind of see what we've added to the team.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
It's a real feeling, honestly. It's like a dream come true. I'm out here with a lot of other rookies. We all just want to come and go with the team. Just come out here, have fun, and do what we do.
A lot of people project you to slot automatically in the NFL. How does that feel for you? You still think you play on the outside?
Yeah, I feel like I can play both outside and slot, and I feel like that's what makes me versatile.
You play a lot of plays on the ball, your receptions in common. Some quarters don't have that skill set. Why do you feel like that was something you can expect?
I mean, I feel like I just come from playing hard, honestly. Just playing hard, doing what you're supposed to do, get things happen, supposed to do what you're supposed to do. So.
With Jesse being a former defensive backs coach, do you feel any eyes or pressure on you when he's watching you practice?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say pressure, but I would just say it's a blessing to have somebody of that caliber, like being your coach now. So it's pretty cool, honestly.
For the full
whole team gets here? Is there something you're looking forward to? Is there somebody you want to pick their brain? Just sort of that you've been watching for a while and you want to talk to get to know good?
Yeah, I would say everybody in that corner's room, honestly, just see, because they got a few guys that's been here 10 years, like been in the league 10 years. So, I mean, see what, like, how they stuck, like, how they lasted so long. Then they got some younger guys in the room, like, and stuff. So just getting to know the guys, just picking their brain on whatever I may have a question about. So.
Good.
Can you take us through when you call and you hear that this next guy is actually the one that you're talking to?
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. Having that opportunity to get the call from the owner, and just having an opportunity for him and Coach Winnie to have a relationship, and that kind of worked out. Me being in Baltimore with a great organization, and Mr. Bashadi being the guy that called me, it was definitely a shock. But I will say that I'm extremely appreciative for him and Coach Sweeney and the Baltimore organization for having me here, and I'm going to give it my all. I think, just it speaks to the testament of the Clemson program, and the people that he recruits. When I committed to Clemson back when I was a junior in high school, I knew that that was the place that I wanted to be, and that was the place that I wanted to make home. And when I committed to somewhere, that's where I call home. And I didn't want to ever leave there, and I gave it my all. I did everything that I could to make it work there, and that's why I moved positions. That's why I switched from wide receiver to running back, and it helped me in my career and it helped the team last year. So I think it was a win-win for both of us. And I think that Coach Sweeney saw that the opportunity that he gave me worked out, and just my character and as a player on and off the field. I think that's just kind of how he was reflecting in the most recent interviews, and while he was giving his insight to Mr. Shai.
Take us through the conversion from wide receiver to running back, just how that went.
It was kind of a need for our position or our team going into the next year. We only had redshirt freshmen running backs and incoming freshmen, and Coach Sweeney wanted a vet in the room, and you saw my size, my speed, and my pass catching ability. Also, just my knack for running after the catch while I had the ball, and we both came to the conclusion that it could definitely be a good possibility and also a good thing for me to show my versatility for the next level. And I think it just worked out last year that I had the opportunity to show my versatility in many games and on tape. So that's really what carried me into the place I am right now.
I'm sure you're excited to work with Derrick Henry for a lot of reasons, but also the fact there's not many running backs of your height. He's about there too. What are you looking for to learn from him? And anything about that in particular, Mike?
I'm just looking forward to being able to get in the room and see how he works, and also all the other guys. Just see how they are pro, and just being at the Ravens organization, I know that they have great players and great men in their position rooms, and I'm just going to be a sponge and a fly on the wall, just in that meeting room, and take everything that I can, apply it to my game. Like Derrick Henry being taller stature like I am, I'm just going to continue to learn how to work with my pad level, shorten up my strides, just to continue to be a better running back. I think he's a really, really good guy. I think he's a really good coach. Somebody that I can get down and plan for, and give him my all for. Someone that I think that really cares about his players and really cares about the details of the game. That's somebody that I can get with. So I really have been impressed with what I've been around for the last 2 days. Just to soak it all in, enjoy the environment, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the dream that has come true, but also, immerse yourself into the culture, be able to learn and, get on a routine and a schedule that works for yourself. And once you do that, just start to get into the playbook and see if you can earn your spot or way onto the field in any role possible with that, whether that is special teams or in my case on the offensive side of the ball, and just continue to get better as a player overall.
Chance, I don't know if you ever knew him at all, but playing with Diego Pavia the last couple of days, you got any kind of feel for him?
He's a really good guy, really good, a guy that plays with a chip on his shoulder. I got to experience him at the Senior Bowl. I really think me and him just kind of building a rapport. Running back, quarterback exchange is really huge in football that a lot of people don't talk about. So I think that he has a great energy and attitude, and he's a competitor. So that's really all you can ask for in a teammate, and I know he's going to give it his all every time he steps on the field.
All right. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
Definitely the level of detail going from college to the NFL. I mean, it's a lot more. There's a lot more emphasis on you know, the detail of every single route, every single run, and they really want to make you know the why of why we're running this play and why it works, why it doesn't, and you know, it's mainly about the details.
Yeah, you've heard a lot of times that the Ravens double dipping at tight end and the second guy that's happens and everything ends up really working out. Anything about that, or particularly with sort of being more of a flex guy? Do you expect much of a
I can't really say much about that right now. You know, I'm still trying to fit into my role, see kind of where they see me at, mostly out here. You know, they're kind of using both of us everywhere, a little bit in line, a little bit spread out. But one thing's for sure, Hibby and I are going to work off of each other. We're going to, you know, help each other out wherever we can, and you know, see where that works out. Yeah, I first met him at the Senior Bowl. He was on the national team. I was on the American team. We were just kind of going at it, but I mean, you know, tight ends really, we always stick together no matter where we're at. So, you know, even if they are on the other team, like we're going to say what's up, we're going to say hi to each other. So that's where I initially met him. And then saw him again at the Combine. We ended up getting closer there, just talking a lot, wishing each other luck in the process, and it ultimately worked out. Look at where we are now. So it's good that we made that introduction as early as we did.
There's big things front office here. Have you had any chance to interact with them? Does he come up to you at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So after practice yesterday, he kind of came up to me just saying, "Roll Tide, man. Like, I'm so happy you're here." You know, I was kind of starstruck when he got on the phone with me, because I mean, all we talked about at Alabama in the tight end room was really kind of like the legends that walked through here and the standards we need to uphold. That man holds all the records, receiving and all the stuff like that. So it's like something that we look up to and we strive for. So when I met him yesterday, I mean, you know how you're usually supposed to go with one hand and like that's more professional. I was like, I'm trying to hold on to my hand longer, please. I mean, shoot. But no, it was great meeting him, just kind of seeing a legend in front of my face. But I mean, that's what Baltimore gives you. So.
Josh, in the SEC, did you ever go up against a one-on-one rep Zion in Alabama, Missouri game?
Yeah, there was a few times, and there's many questions asked about, you know, Zion during the combine process, and I mean, some coaches would ask me like, who's one of the hardest players you've gone against, and initially, whoever popped in my head, Zion Young. And Zion Young, I mean, he's got so much potential, and I mean, his ceiling is just tremendously high, and I mean, he does everything right. He's got a deep bag, spin move, push, pull, bull rush, everything. So yeah, we've gone up against each other a few times. One of the other guys actually went up against him one-on-one, and he kind of did a little chop move, and I did that to him in Mizzou, and he's like, "You taught him that?" And I was like, "Shoot, I don't know. This is a vet move right there." But no, yeah, we kind of go back and forth with each other. He's a good guy.
What's the best trait you as a player?
I think his willingness to do anything. You know, whatever the coaches put him at, he's pretty mobile. His lateral speed is pretty good. So, you know, line him up against a tight end, you know, a tackle, he's going to get around him. So I think his willingness to do whatever it is, he's going to get it done.
Try and get your way to tight end university this summer?
I'm going to try, hopefully. You know, being around a bunch of the guys, you know, learning from the best. You know, you can only get better in that environment. So hopefully I do make it, yeah.
I knew you were on the opposite side of the field at Diego Pavia in college, but I mean, did you get to know him at all through the process, or Fahir, and kind of, or impression from way back then too?
Not really. I had the opportunity to meet him just the other day. Just kind of sat down, had a meal together, just talking. Because I mean, during the process, it's pretty hectic. So like quarterbacks kind of stick over there, and tight ends kind of we stick over there, and you know, there's not really much interaction going on. And during the Senior Bowl too, he was there, and he was on the national side, and he was doing kind of his own thing, and we were all trying to learn a brand new playbook within a few days, so everybody was kind of keeping to themselves and doing that stuff, but I actually sat down with him the other day. We talked it up.
Well, how was that? Did you learn anything about him?
No, it was good. Yeah, we just kind of talked experience on just how it was at like Vanderbilt, and you know, how it was at Alabama, just kind of the games going on. We talked about 2024, 2025, just like those games and stuff, but not really like a super deep conversation. It was kind of like quick because we wanted to get studying again because we're also being hit with another playbook here. So it's like we kind of need that extra time to study. So pretty shallow conversation, but it was good.
Coach Gross doesn't have a huge resume as a tight end coach. So what stuck out to you about his mastery of that position?
Just the way he kind of teaches the offense. Like when I think of a tight end coach, I really want somebody to kind of emphasize like the details of it. So we know exactly like the steps we need to take, the depth we need to take, and things like that. And Coach really does a good job kind of explaining that in meetings. And he's going to take the time with you if you need it. First thing he does is leave like 5 minutes at the beginning, just for questions that you ask. And then he's going to explain it as best he can, and then get into the install right away. But he goes at a good pace, and that works for me, and that's what really caught my eye so far.
Yeah, I'm excited that you kind of get this starting over process. You talked about learning a new playbook, on a new team at a new level, just kind of hitting that reset button.
Yeah, so it's pretty much a blank slate, and you just kind of, there's not really much to say about it. It's really just kind of going out there and putting in the work, and just getting better from that point on. But as a rookie, you can't come in here and acting like the big dog because really you're a small fish in a bigger pool now. So a good transition for me is really kind of getting to know some of the vets and getting my foot in the door and trying my best and earning that respect there.
All right, thank you, Josh.
Appreciate me and Kyron Hudson, my teammate from Penn State, and we were just talking after practice yesterday. It's a crazy feeling knowing that you're wearing the NFL shield on your chest now, playing in the league. We just finished our first practice in the NFL. It's definitely a feeling of being blessed. Definitely would have pictured myself here a while ago, but just happy that I'm here now.
What has struck you about working with Coach Redford?
He's energetic. I'm talking about every day. It's not just out here, it's in the meeting room. Whether you're walking down the hallway with him, he's always energetic. He's talking about different things more than just ball. That's a good thing to have in the line room. Separate ball and life talk type things like that, just to clear your mind up a little bit, refresh, reset, things like that. But he's a phenomenal coach. I've been with him for 3 days now, so I've learned a lot from him.
Left side, left guard. Right side. How big of adjustment is it to go from left guard to
Yeah, for me at Penn State, I played both left and right, a little bit of center as well. Shout out to Phil Charlton, my line coach at Penn State. He made sure every day we were rotating left and right just to get used to it. But out here, it's definitely a little bit of work to get used to again, but ain't much to it.
Other than kind of transitioning out of everything that goes along with preparing for the draft and then going to the draft itself, and now actually being able to get back to playing football?
It's been a long process, man. It's been about 4 months, something like that. But I'd say after the draft, I flew out the next morning. I got like 4 hours of sleep, like I said before. Touchdown and left again in like 12 hours. So definitely a long process, but.
and goal, walking out on that field. What did that feel like, sir?
It felt great. Just like another dream come true. Like just stepping on that field. I just love football. I love being out here competing with this team and these guys. Just getting to know everybody. So it felt great.
It's one of the largest and most passionate fan bases, we believe, in the entire NFL. I don't know if you've seen on socials, but a lot of them love everything that you bring to the table already. What's your message to this fan base? What are they going to get in one?
I mean, when AP drafted me and everybody drafted me, I have a responsibility to come and carry out the vision that they had when they made that call to me. So I'm gonna put my head down every day and put in all the work and be the best version of myself, and hopefully that's more than they expect.
Antonio, I know in Clemson you played outside, inside a little bit. What do you prefer? What do you like more? What do you think you fit best, inside or outside of the NFL level?
I prefer everything. I feel like that's when I'm at my best. Just feel like I'm a versatile player, and I can line up everywhere and run every route. So I just like being able to go everywhere, and I feel like I just have a lot of freedom to do that in this offense.
Okay, we've been asking about the jersey number 14. What's the backstory? Why'd you land on 1-4 and 14?
1-4, that was my first number ever. So taking back, I got a lot of great memories in this number, and hopefully I can make a lot more great memories in this number.
Did you learn your pass catching skills from coming up?
My mom.
Okay,
My mom. I mean, I had a lot of great coaches growing up. Jason Barnes, my high school receiver coach, really taught me the art of receiver. I wasn't a receiver until I got to high school, so I give a lot of credit to them for sure. And then Coach Christian at Clemson just really helped develop.
What receivers do you kind of like to look at to kind of study
I think a lot of, I've said this to my friends and they say I'm biased, but like I was a JSN fan before last year, so I like his game. My all-time favorites are Devontae Adams. I just love his coolness and ability to track the ball, lay hands. And AB is another one of my favorites. Yeah, I work with a lot of different people, but I think it's just like really trying to perfect your craft and then taking a lot of stuff from other guys, just watching film and learning from them. So I've always been a student of the game and always looking for ways to improve and get better. I mean, I feel like that's the name of the game. If you can get open, then a lot more balls will come your way. So playing receiver, I feel like it's my job to make it easier on the quarterback and create some extra space to give him an easier throw. So I always want to be that guy and for the quarterback and just be his best friend. I mean, I was paying attention to it during the draft, but like, I mean, I'm where I'm at. I'm where I want to be now. So it all worked out perfectly, and I'm happy I'm here and happy to get to work.
Thanks, Antonio.
Thank you.
Eat a little bit, have some fun. I'm just excited to be here. Excited to finally be on field.
What was that moment like when you went in the locker, saw that jersey for the first time, saw the helmet for the first time? What were those emotions like?
It was good. It felt right. It felt like it was meant to be, so I'm excited.
I want to follow up just on that question there. Obviously, we got draft night, Sonny. You had that moment when you walked onto that field as a commander for the first time. What were you feeling?
Just grateful to be here. I know there's a lot of work put in to get here. But it's just the beginning. So, like I said, I'm excited to just keep it working and keep getting better.
Speaking with the community, so many Commanders fans are so high on you right now. They're ready to root for you. What is your message to this fan base that is so excited to see some stars?
I mean, I think I'm going to give everything I got to this team. You know, when I was at Ohio State, I gave everything I had to Ohio State and the university, and I took pride in that. I'm going to take pride in being commander, getting everything to this team, and
do whatever I can, like in this necessary help the team win.
Sonny, what's been your process just to get to learn the defense and the system? What have you been doing?
Yeah, you know, we come in yesterday, meet the team, meet everybody, kind of get settled in. And today, just going through with the coaches, going through some of the install. You know, it's super basic right now. It's pretty easy to understand for guys right now. So I think they do a great job the way we describe the defense, the way we teach it.
Did you get the playbook after the draft? Did you been studying it?
I took a look at it, yeah, but you know, I haven't been able to really meet with the coaches on it. So yesterday, kind of my first time really talking on it. So I'm just glad to be here in the building. So yeah, I think Coach DJ does a really good job. Just the way he teaches defense, it's easy to learn, easy to digest.
Why?
I don't know. It's like I think when I was with Coach Patricia at Ohio State, like he was just a great teacher, and I think the same with Coach DJ. He's a great teacher. Coach Norton's a great teacher. I think sometimes some coaches do a really good job the way they articulate the game and articulate the way they're describing the playbook. It's easy for everyone to digest.
When you're doing any kind of tape watching, are you watching these guys from a year ago, or are you watching more like what Durante's Vikings were doing?
We haven't really watched that much tape. You know, it's our first time really watching tape today. You know, on my own, I watched a little bit of like the Viking stuff last year. But I mean, we're still learning the playbook. Everyone's learning the playbook at the same time right now. So you can't really look too far ahead.
Do you have like it mapped out, like sort of, okay, in week this, I'm going to start looking more in tape, or week this, I'm going to start prepping more of this, or is it just kind of just go with the flow?
Right now, I'm just, I got the plays that they gave me, and I'm just focused on those right now. You know, once I start getting more plays, I'm going to make sure I attack it.
So you look like a couple times today you were so aggressive that you actually had to hold back on a couple of. Is it like that right now? Do you just feel like you just want to run out and run?
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn how to practice. You know, sometimes you're running up, you got to make sure you slow down. Guys are cutting, they're still trying to avoid you, things like that. So just trying to stay on our feet and be a pro.
Sonny, how did you land on 52?
I'm not really a big number guy. Like I wasn't really big in the single digits. Like I like 0. Mikey had 0. So then like I was telling Coach Nord, like when I look in the room, we got like London on the wall, London Fletcher, LeVar, I think it was Ken Harvey and Monty Coleman. It was all like 50 numbers. And I was like, sure, I'm gonna pick a 50 number. And I was thinking about it. You know, I remember growing up watching like Patrick Willis, Ray Lewis. So hey, 52 would be cool. And then my dad was like, hey, 5 + 2 is 7. So that's your draft picks. I was like, man, that's cool. That seemed pretty cool. So that's really how I landed on it. I didn't have no like special number to pick, so it's kind of just picking anything.
Did you check with Mikey at all for 0 or not even?
No, he got it.
How much more versatile do you think you can become the more you get used to this position and playing here?
Yeah, I think, the more reps you have at the position, the better you get. And it's going to be year 3 for me at linebacker, so I'm excited to keep growing at an exponential rate. And I'm excited to get around some great coaching. We had some great coaching, and Kyle is about to have a great coaching here as well. So I think I'm just going to keep getting better and better.
Sonny, from the outside, being a first-round pick comes with expectations. So how do you handle those expectations?
Yeah, I think the expectations I have for myself are already high enough. So anyone else's expectations can't really exceed those. So I think when you look at it like that, it's like, why would you feel pressure than anyone else? Like if you have high expectations for yourself and you're always attacking and striving to get better, the outside world, what they think or expect of you, doesn't really faze you. That's one, John. Appreciate it, son.